Broadcasting from the Blanchistan Centre, this is Phoenix FM.
This is 92.5 Phoenix FM, community radio for Dublin 15.
Hey everybody, it's JB Jeremy Borash, and you are listening to Darrow O'Connor.
Welcome to the Wrestling Rewind, the only wrestling podcast by fans who don't hate wrestling.
Hello folks, welcome to Phoenix FM. It is pretty much close to Christmas. I think it's like the day before Christmas Eve when you're checking this out. So very Merry Christmas to all of our listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. We're not doing a Christmas themed show right now because the news is so insane at the moment that we actually have to cover wrestling. So we will do something a bit more festive maybe next week, but right now we're dealing with the fallout of truly insane things that's happening in the world of professional wrestling. My name is Darrow O'Connor. You are listening to the Wrestling Rewind, and of course I'm joined by Mr. 1-0, you know me, love him, Mr. Martin Hardy. How are things, Martin?
How's things, Darrow? We are recording this on Discord. Our microphones are on, but our cameras are not, so therefore you can't see me. Wah, 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 wah. And it's just as well you can't see me, because despite the fact that Dynamite happened in England last night, Dynamite was in Manchester, actually, at a very reasonable time last night. Triller TV didn't put it on. I thought, worst case scenario, they'll put it on at the normal time, 1 a.m. But no, for some reason, it was delayed by an hour. So even though Dynamite literally happened in England, it didn't start on my TV till 2 a.m. and it was a 3-hour special. So, yeah, it's just as well you can't see me because I'm looking fierce haggard at the moment.
Oh, that's bleak. That's bleak.
It was so bleak.
I was like, oh yeah, AEW is going to be back soon. And then I looked and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to that. Because I just totally forgot. I totally feel like we were there when they announced it, but December just creeped up on everybody so fast.
We probably wouldn't have even gotten tickets. Apparently it was a 12,000 sellout. Like,
yeah, but I mean, we could have applied for tickets. It just never occurred to me to do it because I was like, yeah, I'll get to that eventually. And then it was December. So, you know, it was just
life just creeps up on you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about it, like from Forbidden Door to now, it only felt like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it feels like it was only a couple of weeks since Mercedes Money was giving me the stink eye.
Oh, she was giving you the business, and it was. I have to say though, you know, it was so hard for me to just not burst out laughing because that was the funniest thing that I've been around in some time. I was just like, no, I need to hold this together because she's right in front of me and Tony Khan's looking right at me. I just need to not laugh. Just stop, focus on anything else, just not laugh because that was really, really funny.
Then Dynamite did come on I watched it on Triller.
Mm-hmm.
Dynamite did come on Triller, and for some reason it was the Spanish language audio. So yeah, I just had a rough old night last night trying to watch the graps.
They're keeping you on their toes.
Yeah, we're really gonna make you earn this $2.99 a month. I think the Triller app costs me.
We're gonna make you work for this. But I have to say though, like the streaming services that are available right now for pretty much anything are a mixed bag. You know, like I don't think I've talked about this on any show that we've done yet, but I'm a big fan of Victory Plus. And like I've told you about Victory Plus. That's how you can watch free hockey and different sports from around the world, including hunting, which is kind of bizarre. But like you can watch like different hockey from like it's a regional thing for California, but you can like see the Ducks play there for free. But they also have like random regional hockey from around the world, including Bret Hart's team, which is like I think it's like
the Calgary Hitmen.
Yeah, I think they're like under 18s or something like that, and they're playing where the Flames play. But you can just watch them on, because their games start just before the Ducks usually go on, because they're in California, and obviously the time zones, it works out that way. But that app is great and it's free, like 100% free. And
That sounds like if we get a dystopian future where the Running Man is real, that sounds like that's the app it would be on.
Yeah, actually that makes sense. But well, the Running Man, so is that based in California? I thought it was more based in New York, right? That's like an East Coast.
Well, I just meant because it's hunting the most dangerous game.
Yes.
Percy or Arnold Schwarzenegger in the original. I haven't actually seen the remake, but I've heard it's not terrible.
It's not terrible. Some people are like, it's really bad. I'm like, no, it's not really like an Edgar Wright movie. You know, it doesn't feel like, it's not as good as his other movies. You know, but I thought it was okay. But yeah, Victory Plus. If you guys like the Ducks and random collegiate hockey, there's worse apps to download. But the thing about it is, like, I'm shocked how good some of the streaming services actually can be, and they're free, and then you pay for ones, and they're like, well, we got your money, bye. And they're just like, it's like, lads, come on, this one is free. Like,
I emailed Triller about it last night to their their emergency, not emergency, but their feedback problems issues one. And they got back to me this morning, so it's million. Thanks, million.
To be fair, look, it sounds like it's a small enough company. It's probably just one guy, and you know, he's just like trying to figure it out at Christmas. On call at Christmas, he's like, it's just me. I have to wait until the rest of the lads log in tomorrow morning.
To be fair to them now, it's still better than GAA. We have we have a GAA streaming server for any of our international listeners if you want to watch Gaelic games, but also be just completely infuriated the whole time.
You know,
the GAA streaming services.
I'm glad you said it, because I was gonna be like not harsh to them. I actually gave the GAA app a pass, but you brought it back in. Yeah, it is a horrifically bad app. So and that's for free. It's like 150 quid a year. Like, it's crazy
expensive. I'm pretty sure what they did was whoever designed RTE Player, they just brought them in to do the same job.
Yeah, if you want to watch ads crystal clear and nothing else, the RTE Player's got you sorted. Telling you, those ads run super well.
Yeah,
those ads run super well. Nothing else.
If you want to watch the toy show, you're out of luck. The
ads before it, the ads before it will run so well.
They'll feel like they're in the room with you.
Oh man, yeah. No, like on Nerd to Know, we've given a lot of deserved criticism towards the RT app, but it is truly bizarre when you're like, how did you design such a poor app that doesn't work except for the ads? Now the Virgin Media app, if you're in Ireland, that's the one to watch. That's really good.
Oh, very good. Yeah, it's the pity they're rarely event on that I would watch.
That's true, but they do have a lot of WWE. Now I know that's been a pretty bad product, but the fact that it's there, it's in the fact that in Ireland, at one point, you had to have the most expensive Sky possible to watch wrestling. We've now come back around that you can just watch it for free. That's wild.
Or you had to be one of the houses that there didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it, but England came out with a new channel 5, maybe 20 years ago, and for some
I remember this. Yeah.
For some reason, some houses over here got it and some didn't. And if you were one of the ones that got it, you could see WCW.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Because I used to watch WCW on Bravo. It used to be on Bravo.
All right. See, we didn't. I was in one of those Irish houses where the country father loved nothing more. Like, his favorite thing was when the kids would ask, "Can we get Sky TV?" and he'd tell you to look out the window. This is his absolute favorite thing to do.
Oh no.
The joke never got old for him. Never got old. It was one of those jokes. The longer it went on, funnier it was for him.
Oh, that's so harsh. That's so harsh. Although to be fair, the modern equivalent of that is now is like when a kid asks for a Switch and you hand them like a network Switch. And it's like, there's loads of pictures of just this really sad kid at Christmas been handed the network Switch, and he's like, oh man, again, funny, probably severely damaging to that kid's psyche, but still,
toughen up.
tough it up. That's it. Speaking of toughening up,
and damaging the psyche of the young.
Damaging psyche of the young. What is going on with like 85% of wrestling fans? And I look, we give a lot of stuff to AEW fans because the unhingedness, but we're about to give a lot more stuff to WWE fans because of the unhingedness. Martin, it's the interesting opposite. AEW fans can be too smart about how wrestling works and can ruin it for themselves. Same with TNA fans back in the day. Do WWE fans not understand how wrestling works?
I think so. Obviously, we're talking about ending to John Cena's career and the reaction to it.
Yeah.
So it was pretty controversial, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows Cena tapped out. The guy whose whole image was based on literally the phrase "never give up."
So there have been some good jokes about it. It's like those like those kids now who went to is like, well, I gave up. Give up until what? Don't give up until the last day and then give up.
Well, don't give up until you do.
Until you do. That was another one. It's just like, oh man, this is so dark because like all those kids that he went to now, their world is shattered. Like,
I was fairly willing to give the fans a wee bit of leeway on this because I was thinking
sending death threats to Triple H.
Yes,
it's a bit much.
There's obviously the lunatic ones, but I was willing to give fans who are upset a bit of leeway because I was thinking, well, look, I hated John. Like, John Cena was one of the reasons I stopped watching wrestling for like 10 years.
He's the reason I discovered TNA.
Well, yeah, well, there you go. So
I hated him so much. Yeah,
you could look at it that way. But I also had to stop and think, well, hold on. Like, when I was a young fella, if you were to go back now and try to explain to someone who's never seen it what Hulk Hogan was, like, well, hold on, this fella perpetually looks like he's in his mid-50s, even when he was in his 20s. He's bald and he moves in the ring like he's running through treacle. Like, this isn't the biggest star in the world. So I'm willing to give fans a bit of leeway on, you can have, based on your age and the era of the product you're watching, you can have an emotional attachment to, to maybe people who other generations don't see the appeal of. So when fans were mad, were upset, or whatever, I was willing to give them a bit of leeway. But as you say, the truly deranged ones are the ones that scare the bejesus out of me. These are people I, honest to God, think would stab you over a wrestling opinion.
No, literally. But as I said, like, you usually see this on the fringe side of an AEW WWE rival battle, right?
Like on Twitter or something.
But like, this is like, you've now crossed into like pure true derangement where it's like, one, this isn't real, right? It's not. Wrestling isn't real. It's a great show. I love it, right? Two, John Cena booked this. This is literally what I wanted to happen, right? And three, this is the way wrestling's supposed to happen. Look, Sting winning his last match, I had a problem with, as you know, because one, I love Sting, but two, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
He didn't want to. It was...
He didn't want it. Yeah. But that, it comes back to, when you enter, and look, this from training in wrestling, right? When you go in on your back because you're a rookie, and you go out on your back because you're handing the torch to the next generation.
To the guys
why you do it.
Be there tomorrow.
Exactly. That's why you do it, right? So that's why when we were previewing this, I was like, look, Cena has to lose, right? There's no way he's winning, right? But it's so unhinged to be like, I'm so mad, I'm going to wish death on Triple H. I've seen mad stuff like, oh, The Rock should have came out and challenged Triple. You love this one. Should have challenged Triple H to a Hell in a Cell match. I'm like, Triple H, if he gets in the ring again, he will die. He's my favorite wrestler. I didn't get a retirement tour with Triple H because he will die if that happens. What is wrong with you? Like,
the fact that he makes it down the ramp is
is a big achievement. The man was having a heart attack, and it was like, you nearly died. Like,
I think the most unhinged, non-death threat one I saw was someone had put up a picture of after the match where Triple H comes out to the ring and him and Cena are hugging and waving to the crowd, and this guy wrote this big long, like really angry, wrote this thing about what should have happened here was Cena should have hit Triple H with an attitude adjustment and then said, I'm not retiring, and had a match in a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. I was like, lad, you live in reality.
It's like, not the whole reason why John Cena retired is because his body can't do it anymore. He was very clear.
It's very clear that I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, it's like, my body can't do it anymore. What?
Triple H's heart was very clear. I'm out. I'm done.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know if it's, the social media thing, if it's, been pandered to in certain things, if it's a generational thing, but even like the Gen Z lads who would be on YouTube would cover stuff. Some of it's just unhinged. It's like, oh, they ruined wrestling. It's like, God, it's never happened before. It's like, it's happened every time. If you go back and watch wrestling at any point, you will see that this is the way it is. Now, look, I did have a problem with it, with the way it was done, but that's John Cena. Like, he perpetually disappoints you. This is why we didn't like him. Like, my biggest memory of John Cena, and when I started hating him viciously, I was at a house show, and look, I do empathize with people who are annoyed. This happened to me, but I got over it because I'm an adult. When I was 14, 15, house show in Dublin, WWE World Title, Triple H challenging against John Cena in a street fight. Guess what happened?
What?
Cena won.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. But this is what you guys don't understand if you're a little bit younger. Cena always won. We had to live with John Cena winning for a decade. No matter what the...
Wasn't the whole meme Cena wins?
Law Cena wins. Yeah. No matter what the match was, no matter who he was against, Christ Almighty could come down and John Cena would win. Right? That was how he was booked. And
well, here, let me put it from my perspective. If I managed to get over the Montreal Screwjob, which was real, which actually happened.
Well, was it real? I don't know. There's that documentary that says it was a work to take WCW down.
Kevin Nash. But if I can get over that, you can get over John Cena booking his own final match.
And that's it. Like, I remember again John Cena banishing Chris Jericho, who I loved at the time in 2005. He literally put him in a trash compactor at the back of a van, like a dump truck, and then I didn't see him for 2 years. I was very annoyed about that as well. Like, John Cena beat every single hero of the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
he beat them, all of them in a row. We got over it.
I'm so glad
how wrestling works.
I'm so glad I have no memory of any of this because
it was awful. It was devastating.
Yeah, I opted out very early on in the Cena thing. I was like, this just isn't for me anymore. I think
Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Rock.
Yeah.
If Austin had been still there, he probably would have beat Austin.
At the time, I didn't know. Like, I just didn't know about the likes of New Japan or Ring of Honor or anything. So with WCW being gone, I was like, well, this is just it. This is wrestling now.
He beat lads from there as well. Don't worry, he beat all them as well. But the thing about it was, it just shows you how, like, if you are a newer fan, and this isn't just targeted at Gen Z guys or stuff like that. Like even in my own band, like CJ is a new fan. His reference point is AEW. When Punk entered AEW, that's his wrestling knowledge, right? And I think you do yourself a disservice if you don't look back at wrestling and try to catch up with what happened beforehand, because you end up with this skewed view of reality. I know wrestling isn't reality, but at the same time, it's like how it works. The business doesn't really change that much. There are still traditions. And it's so crazy that like, and actually, sorry to finish the thought, this should have happened sooner. I think that's why this is so weird, because like all this reaction from like grown men, early 20s, mid 20s, even, you know, older, they're having this unhinged reaction to John Cena losing. John Cena should have retired way earlier. Or, you know, it's just his run is unheard of. No one was on top for 20 years. That's crazy. It's like Louis XIV being king for 70 years. No one's king for 70 years. Usually you have a 5-year, maybe 10-year run. Like, think about it. Austin's run was what, 4 years? The Rock's one was maybe 2 years, 3 years. Triple H, 4 or 5 years if you really want to be generous. Then it was Cena.
It's actually
20 years.
It almost harkens back a little bit to really early in wrestling, like in the, you know, like Bob Backlund being like world champion for 10 years.
Yeah, or Bruno being champion for even longer. Like
Sammartino, yeah. It's like, it almost harkens back to that.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so unhinged, because it's like they have never had to deal with this before. You've never actually seen your hero losing and passing the torch. But that's what happened. Gunther has nuclear heat now. Now look, someone was saying, oh, you know, saying he has nuclear heat is silly. He does. That man will be booed for his entire life. You know, he will never be cheered by the WWE audience. And that's what you want, because he's going to be the person to be. Whoever beats Gunther eventually, do not let it be Jey Uso. Do not let it be Jey Uso. Do not throw it away on Jey Uso, okay? But what I'm saying is, like, when they do build their new star, whoever it will be, when he wins, that will be who. That's it. That's it, made. That's your next big babyface.
What did you think of Gunther as the choice for his final match?
I would have liked a different. I would look. Throw money at Edge and throw money at Tony Khan to get something in. That's what my heart wanted, right? That's what would have made that would have been cool. But to do the story that they want, even Randy Orton, but they did that, and they're not. Randy Orton and Cena are not good together. Even though they wrestled a billion times, you know, there are other things they could have done that would have. RVD would have been cool, but all that stuff is what my heart wanted as a wrestling fan, because it's like, oh, I'd love to see this one more time. But to actually further the business and to set up the future, which is that whole Saturday Night main event was set up for one reason, to set up the future. They had the kids in there wrestling, making names for themselves. AJ was in there with a bunch of NXT TNA kids to really put that forward, to be like, look, these are the guys you should be watching.
Apparently, Obafemi came across quite well.
Obafemi came across really well. I had to struggle through that match because Cody Rhodes was there. And he, like, honestly, I just can't stand him. But at the same time, it's really? Like, yeah, oh yeah, I know, it's shocking, right? But yeah, so
any of our newer listeners, this will be a recurring theme.
But yeah, everyone who was on that show came across really, really well, and it was, and again, Cena booked the whole thing. It was his plan. What Cena could have done is he could have been like, look, we'll bring in all the older lads, we'll have one more run, and we'll fall down a bit, and it'll be grand. No, that's not what happened. So from minute 5, maybe, when I saw that was where it was going, I was like, right, this makes sense. So Gunther, yeah, because look, he is the biggest heel in the company. He is the future of where WWE want to go. I think the call of the night, and it is a great call, Martin, you'd appreciate it, was professional wrestling has beat sports entertainment. Great call. Really, really good call. And maybe that's what they're looking forward to doing. you know.
Do you think do you think is that a sign that they're going to go more in that direction now rather than?
Yeah, look, I think so. Like John Cena represented, like there was no one more sports entertainment than John Cena.
He was it.
And particularly during his heyday, that like we would hate him viciously. The you can't wrestle thing. Because look, it was kind of true. The guy would come out, do 5 moves, and then win, no matter what happened. Like I think someone drove a bus into him once, and he got back up and still won. I was just like, come on, what are you doing? Like this is so frustrating. But at the same time, he did grow. Seeing his latter part of his career is actually quite commendable, where he would whip out different moves, go on these long stretches. And even at his worst, Cena would work up. So if he's in the ring with Randy Orton, it would be a struggle. If he's in the ring with Shawn Michaels, it'd be incredible. If he was in the ring with Batista, you'd want to die. If he's in the ring with Bobo Lashley, you would just, you'd want someone to end it there. But if he was in the ring with Edge, it'd be fantastic. He always worked up. He was never like...
Well, the sort of quintessential example is the Money in the Bank Punk match, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then Punk obviously would be his best rival, his biggest, the person who, I mean, Punk loves him, right? They're really good friends in reality, but at the same time, it's like,
I think would he have been an option, or was it better that they went with sort of putting, not that Gunther's a new guy, but putting a younger talent over?
You see, that's it. I mean, my heart would say yeah, right, but why? I mean, Punk's probably got 2 years left, maybe 3, before he's retired and he goes into a management role. So that would make sense. It's like, if you're given that retirement rub to someone, it has to be someone that's going to be there for at least 10 years. Punk doesn't make sense. AJ Styles doesn't make sense. And they're two of the guys that I'd like to... Even Edge, as cool as that pop would have been, why? He's retiring too soon, right? It's just...
Yeah. Or he was going to go back to AEW.
No, see, here's the thing. That doesn't matter as well, right? If you went back to AEW, he's still going to retire in a couple of years as well. You can even... Chris Jericho, get that win back. Why? Jericho's retiring next year. As much as our heart would want that, because that's a cool moment for us all, that would be blah, blah. No, it has to be someone new. Even if LA Knight had a won, LA Knight's up there as well. Like, he's not a young guy. Gunther is.
Are WWE at risk? Like, and this is a thought that only just occurred to me, just when you were listing off the guys who are the sort of big names, but who are retiring soon. Like Punk, AJ, obviously Jericho's coming in for a retirement run. Like, are WWE at risk of the next few years maybe being a bit of a nostalgia factory?
That's what's happening. That's what's happening. That's why, look, we've said this before. WWE are getting ready to be sold. It's the brand that's surviving here, not in like a fresh product. And you can see that even we'll get into the Sports Illustrated Awards. You can kind of see that. This really is a nostalgia run. Like, we now know that Brock Lesnar, he's retiring next year, more than likely. He's going to have a run. AJ Styles is having his retirement run next year. Chris Jericho's having his retirement run next year. Year after that, it could be Punk, could be...
I would say by that time...
Depends.
I would say by that time, we'll think that enough time has passed and we'll see McMahon as well.
Yeah, maybe, but still, I mean, even like that still sets up more that like we're closing loops here, we're finishing up. And again, even for a nostalgia run, like he'll get cheered. Like, the maddest thing that I heard after this, and even online, is that Vince should come back and WWE was better under Vince. Was it? Was it better under Vince McMahon? Was it? Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. cool.
We
That's
want
great.
Vince chants were to me they were wilder than the AEW chants.
Well, the AEW chant, like, that was obviously a protest. That's like when you hear in AEW, they cheer for WWE, or the CM Punk chants before he came back. It's a protest. There were
Yeah.
TNA chants for years in WWE when something bad was happening. It's just a protest one. The Vince one is wild because they actually believe that. And
Yeah,
that says to me that people who cheer that don't have any context of how wrestling works. Or they're 20-something and have not watched wrestling long enough to understand what they're saying. Because they were probably 4 or 5 or 8 when Cena was beating everybody in ridiculous ways, and fans like us were pushed out, went to TNA or New Japan and eventually AEW because the product was so poor under Vince McMahon. People were screaming for Vince McMahon. This is how short-sighted wrestling is. They were screaming for Vince to leave.
People
I can't
remember
believe
his oh yeah, like they wanted him out, but people remember, I think maybe, you know, those really couple of good years of the Attitude Era, maybe the first couple of years of Ruthless Aggression, and then obviously you had the you know, the kind of golden era and the better parts of New Gen. But people tend to forget that there was a 20-year period there from kind of the mid-noughties right up till the 2020s where, like, watching a 20 sort of 15 SmackDown, like, that's an interrogation, torture. Like, I'd give you anything. I'd name everyone. I'd be like Winston. I'd be like Winston at the end of 1984. I'd be going, do it to Julia.
But that's it. Like, I think that, and it is a lot of Gen Z kids who are saying this mad stuff. They were kids. They were 4 or 5 and they were just happy to see John Cena. They don't remember it. They don't remember it. They don't go back and watch it. And they're like, or if they do, they go back and watch the match and they have good feelings and they're like, oh, it's brilliant.
Or they watch the highlights, the clips.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, it's brilliant. It's like, no, it wasn't. It was the worst thing ever. We were grown. We were adults, if like, you know, late teens, 20s, trying to watch Raw with Cena on top after Jericho was finished. You know, when we were, as you said, 2015, 2018, the horrific years. It was just like, before AEW started, you should really go back and watch how bad that product was. Go back and watch 2005, 2006. Actually, yeah, go back and watch 2005, 2006. And I'm not talking about the good ones. I'm talking about Bobo Lashley versus John Cena at SummerSlam. Go back and watch that match. Go enjoy it.
Your man who was the pirate.
Oh yeah,
Like
Paul
that.
Burchill. Yeah, go back and see how great that was under Vince McMahon and how great John Cena was. No, it's just, look, you were just swindled. You were a kid. You have an emotional attachment to it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, as I said, a big part of this show is going in and separating our emotional attachment from the Attitude Era, which, again, a lot of people think it's the best thing ever, and it's a great watch, but you know,
tremendous energy and atmosphere. But apart from the very top, like the main event, the matches are mostly terrible.
Mostly terrible 2-minute squash matches or nonsense that doesn't go anywhere.
And then even the main event matches, only some of them are actually really good. You know, it's wrestling has an awful nostalgia pull. Like, because even I would still think to myself, you know, like before. So whenever I suggested we do the In Your House arc, in my head, the New Gen era was great. And when you go back and watch it, like, again, apart from Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, it's a whole load of people with gimmicks that are jobs, you know, like
a whole lot of Salvia Vega.
A whole lot of Savio Vega, a whole lot of guns.
Flash Funk.
What do you call it? Is it Mars Moon? Who is the moon guy? Oh my God, yeah.
But see, that's the thing. It's like context matters, and it gets lost in the shuffle here. And this really has, and I've never really seen this happen. And I didn't think it would, because we have the internet, right? I mean, you can literally go back and watch all this stuff in context if you really want to. But no, they're just like, no. And you have to think about it. Why does an AEW exist? Why did the TNA exist? Why was TNA such a hardcore hotbed for fans who were basically refugees from WWE? That's what TNA was. Hardcore TNA fans, and I'm not talking about the modern ones, I'm talking about the real ones who have watched it as long as I have, or slightly longer, were WWE refugees. And you were like, the product is so bad, I cannot watch it because Cena's here. Your choice is Batista, who was actually worse than Cena. And you're like, I just don't know what I just can't.
Orton, I mean, for me, Orton is one guy I cannot figure out. Like, people of a certain generation put him in the all-time greatest category.
Again, it's because like Orton's run is uniquely long. Like, the guys aren't hurting themselves. Like in WWE, they're not hurting themselves anymore. If they get hurt, it's a freak accident. The way they work is not dangerous anymore. It's longevity, which is why you have these massive long runs. Back in the day, now I'm not saying that was better, because unless you're the Undertaker, who misses the days of having a gun in your bag, it's just still crazy. But like, the guys would, they 2 or 3 years, that's it. You make your money then, you go back and you retire, and hopefully you're okay. But the business has changed. It's not like that anymore. But look at TNA. A lot of the guys on top now, they would work that more crazy style. They're either in WWE in backstage roles, or they're finished completely. Like look at Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode was one of the biggest stars of that time period, in equal to John Cena, as far as like his run was around the same time. He was as big as Cena in TNA. Had a small run in WWE, and that was it. And it's because his body was so broken down from all the matches. Abyss is the same. It's just a different approach to wrestling.
Obviously, you don't want to see people, no matter how much you dislike them as a wrestler or character, you don't want to see people getting hurt. But is that cycle of people having, like these 20-year runs at the top, is that good for the business? Is that
no? Clearly, it's not.
A lot of younger people coming up, and
clearly, it's not. I mean, like Cena's legacy in the latter part is not reflective of his actual legacy, right? Like again, like I don't want to be too harsh on him, but there is a lot of vitriol here because he did a lot of damage to the business, right? There's two sides of the coin here. When we were in WrestleView, Hunter Golden would be a big fan of John Cena because he knew him personally, and his view on wrestling from a monetary standpoint is correct, but from a business standpoint, long term, it's actually quite damaging. Here's what I mean. So you have WWE making more money than it ever has. WWE, when Cena was on top, was more successful than the Attitude Era, the New Generation, and the Fed years combined, right? Obviously now was bought by TKO, ridiculous money, making money hand over fist, the stock price is through the roof, right? So obviously they're doing something right, and they are. But there's the other side of the coin. They have very little for the future, and people who should have taken over from John Cena didn't, either because Vince didn't want to push them, or because, in probably more likelihood, Cena didn't want it. Remember, John Cena single-handedly beat an entire crop of new guys called the Nexus. If you're a 20-something kid listening to this, and you're one of those people going mental over what happened to John Cena, I want you to go back and watch John Cena versus the Nexus. He beat 5 guys who should have been on top, including Wade Barrett.
Not 5 nobodies either. Wasn't Bryan Danielson one of them?
Yeah, well, he had been fired and let go, so he was on Cena's team. But yeah, initially Daniel Bryan was in the Nexus. So this was SummerSlam or Survivor Series, was one or the other, and it was like a 5-on-5. Daniel Bryan was in Cena's team.
That was the next decade of your company.
Yeah, no, that was the next decade of that company. If 5 stars could have carried it in different areas, Wade Barrett being the big heel. Cena single-handedly beat every single one of them, not even competitively. He just pinned them all one after another, and that was it. That was it. Gone. 10 years. Gone. Cena on top. And he did that to every single possible challenger. Rusev as well was one of them. Rusev could have been huge. Now he's back, but nowhere near as big as he should have been. Umaga, RVD didn't get a proper run as a result. There are just these bodies that are left there. And it's because of John Cena. So anyone who's upset that Gunther beat Cena, the latter part of John Cena's career is what he should have done 10 years beforehand, where he should have given back.
Not when he
aside.
Not when he's basically just an actor now and can barely move.
Exactly. Like, it's as much as I appreciate John Cena's last run, for how actually interesting it was kind of fumbled. There's enough people online talking about how fumbled it was. But for me, it's more, the reaction to it is more indicative of this happened way too late. Cena messed up people's perception of the way wrestling's supposed to go. You're not supposed to be King Louis XIV and rule for 70 years. You're supposed to just have your time and build the future. So there can.
And the irony of it is that a Cena heel turn 10 years ago would have been legitimate. It would have been like a Hogan style.
Would have been incredible. Would have been incredible. Yeah. That's what people wanted. And also, in that heel turn, guess what you would have got, Martin?
Baby faces who went over him.
A mega face who went over him. The way you're supposed to do it. And it's a combination of Cena not wanting to do it, and Vince definitely not wanting to do it, and also the business not needing him to do it, because TNA wasn't a competition. There wasn't an AEW, and even if there was, they still wouldn't have done it anyway, because they wouldn't have seen him as competition. So it's just perpetual cycle of wrestling being broken, and the person who broke it, folks, I hate to say it, it's John Cena. He broke professional wrestling and made it sports entertainment.
Yeah, he did. And I don't want to blame him for all.
I will. He did it. He broke professional wrestling for 20 years.
Everybody get him.
20 years. I'm sorry.
I don't want to make him solely responsible, but what I will say is, what I will say is that, and I've been seeing for the past week a lot of these kind of like online tributes and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, lads, that's not what it was. You're letting, the moment, the way WWE fans love moments, you're letting the moment overrule the past 20 years.
You know what this is? This is what we said about, and look, we love The Undertaker and we do, but this is what happened with Taker, where people's perception of The Undertaker are video packages, not reality. And WWE are great at this. Go back and watch them. Go back and watch the streak. The first 10 to 11 matches in that are pretty bleak, lads.
There's a reason they didn't start mentioning the streak until it was like 12 matches into it.
Like Sid Vicious versus Taker. That's not a good match. It is not. No. You know what? They show him holding the belt. They show nothing else. And there's a reason for it.
I don't think they even acknowledged the Giant Gonzalez DQ.
They move real fast.
Rohypnol win.
They move real fast. They basically just like show them squaring up, and that's about it. But like, you have to hand it to WWE. They're very good at massaging history and rewriting it, and stuff like that. But if you really do look at the facts of it here, it's like, if there's one person who's responsible for killing professional wrestling for 20 years, it's John Cena. If there's two people, it's John Cena and Vince McMahon. And it's just like, thanks to AEW, to TNA, to fans who wanted it, and very much now to Triple H. Like, they want professional wrestling back. And that's what Gunther is. Gunther is a professional wrestler, right? And that's kind of what it needs to be, because you can't have a John Cena run again, because there won't be a future. Like, if you look at it now, who's the top guy in WWE right now?
Who is it, actually?
I don't know. And if it or no, hold on, it's Punk, Cody, Randy Orton, AJ, Brock. When Jericho comes in, he'll be a top guy because it's his final run.
All of whom will be retiring.
Exactly. They didn't build a future. They're scrambling now to be like, oh my God, who's going to be your guy? It's like that should already have been locked in place 10 years ago, and it should have been with Cena.
Does this again go back to, not to keep bringing us back to the same thing, does this again go back to the idea that you would use all these huge retirements, use this big kind of nostalgia boom for the next couple of years to do massive business with new fans and with older fans, to elevate kind of perception of the company, and then when you sell it off, whoever buys it is left with a dud with all the top guys who've retired.
Absolutely, but I think that's the best hand they have right now because of the actions of people like Cena, Batista, etc., not willing to build for the future. That's all the hands they have. Now here's the thing. A bigger question would be, if AEW didn't exist, would they have been able to build something out of the lads there? Probably not. Like we saw it with the TNA guys. Yeah, some of the guys were able to do it, but their bodies were so broken down by the time they got there, they weren't able to. Like Bobby Roode should have been a massive star. He could have been. His body just couldn't do it anymore. Abyss would have had a pretty cool run. His body couldn't do it anymore. And that probably would have happened with, but if Omega had went there, his body is starting to break down, and that really sucks. Yeah. Hangman wouldn't have even been looked at. Moxley, he would still be wearing a gas mask. It's just these things where it's like WWE needed a shake. It needed to be woken up from where it was. And I do think if there's one positive from this John Cena passing of the torch to someone like Gunther in the way that he did, that era is done. And I don't think they're going to go back to it if they want a future. Now, here's the thing. If they do just want to bleed the company dry and sell it off, eventually the company's going to have to go back and do that anyway because they won't have anybody. It's like, when you're watching... Look, I'll use a hockey example here because I have to. The Ducks for years had a bunch of kids playing for them, right? Like young fellas, 19-year-olds, fresh out of school, like. Yeah. And, they wouldn't win. They would just be terrible. Now, this season, after 4 or 5 years of doing that, they have a captain who's in his 40s and he's helping them really rack up wins to the point they were top of the table there for a while. That's incredible, but that's what has to happen because you have to have an older veteran going in, showing the kids how to do it, and then building it. WWE didn't do that. Cena would just beat the kids. That's it. Just like, oh yeah, I'll win against him. Why not? At least with Cody and Punk and stuff like that seems to be changing now. But and with Triple H, so yeah, give Triple H all the crap you want, but he's the reason why they might have a road to a future here when all these people do retire. And I'm just shocked that they can't see it because if Vince had still been there, Cena would still be wrestling.
He'd have squashed Gunther.
Yeah, he'd have squashed 2 minutes. That's it.
And the worst in the worst would be doing some Nazi gimmick.
In the worst STFU you've ever seen in your life, that's how he would have beat Gunther. So, I prefer what happened. I didn't really like how it happened, but I prefer
it. Just to go back to the start, I don't have the emotional attachment to John Cena that a lot of people will, but I'm willing to give it a bit of leeway because I think we can all look the generations we grew up with and look back at them now with a bit of objectivity and go, actually, that was a bit terrible.
Yeah, Austin's run was class, though, to be fair.
Austin's run was class, but also legitimately an excellent wrestler. Like, my favorite era of Austin is actually just before the Attitude Era, kind of 96, 97. He was legitimately terrifying.
Oh, he was. But even when his neck was broken, he was still badass, And Triple H's run, not the Reign of Terror, but like 1999 to 2000, fantastic. But that's what, like, I think it comes down to, like, the injuries obviously play a big thing, and we're not sitting here saying, oh, they should be injured to carry it. It's like, no, it's like, it's more, they knew they had a certain amount of time, so they wanted to make it as great as it could be. And whether that was in moments or in matches or whatever, the 2 or 3 years, it was way more impactful than 20 years of meh. Like, I can name 5 really, really good Cena matches that I'd watch again, but those 5 matches could have been in 3 years. You know, there was no reason for them to be stretched out for 20 years. And again, Cena's character never... The biggest issue I had with John Cena for years was not that he couldn't wrestle, because obviously he could, he just didn't want to. He didn't have to. Like, if you don't have to put in 100%, you're not going to. I don't care who you are. You're just not going to do that. It's like going into work and your boss wants you to do 1 or 2 spreadsheets and you go do 15. Why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense, right? But at the same time, it's more, what annoyed me was he never changed his character. His character never made sense. You know, he'd come out, he'd do the salute, you know.
I'm still unclear. Was he in the army or
No,
what is that?
I don't. He was in a movie called The Marine, and then he
He's
just
not
started.
literally.
I think so, because like, my favorite era of John Cena was the rapper gimmick, where he would basically be Vanilla Ice. That was cool, you know, Thug Life. That was great. At least that made sense of what he was. And then he came out. He was in the Marine, and then he became a rapper for some reason. Sorry, became a
Was he
veteran
confused when
rapper.
he did that film? Did he know it was a film, or did he think he was drafted and that he was in an actual war for?
I no, like, Randy Orton was legitimately in the Marines. He's, you know, he was dishonorably discharged, but he was legitimately in the Marines. Like, Cena wasn't. Cena's never been in the army. He just,
Yeah, I've always found it so odd because I remember him doing like seeing clips of him doing like tributes to the troop shows, and he's coming out and saluting them, and they're saluting him, and I'm like, he must have been, because like Yankee military people take like all the saluting and all that, and what do they call it? Theft of valor.
oh yeah, stolen valor. Yeah.
Stolen valor. They take all that like really seriously.
But
And
Cena is literally like, I remember saying this like 20 years ago when we were on WrestleView. It would have actually 18 years ago. It was like, yeah, like Cena, I never understood why people would support him, because he is literally doing a stolen valor gimmick, you know?
Yeah.
But look, I don't know, it got over. So
yeah, did. You're playing with.
But like, yeah, I never got John Cena's gimmick, and I still defy anybody. If you're a huge John Cena fan, I want you to tell me what his gimmick was at any point, past the rapper gimmick, because the best I got was he's a sure thing in unsure times.
What is that?
I don't know
All
what that
times
means.
are unsure.
I don't know what that means. That's goofy. Like, the never give up thing. Fair enough. That actually made a bit more sense when they changed that. But in my view of John Cena, he wins all the time. He's a super Cena. That chant that was chanted at him, that wasn't supposed to be a good thing. That was a negative. That's because no one could beat him no matter what happened. So yeah, if he was the Superman, fair enough. But like,
Was he maybe Vince's attempt to replicate Hogan?
Yeah.
No.
That's what he comes off as. He comes off as Hulk Hogan. And I remember saying that as well, also on SVU, that John Cena was just Hulk Hogan. And it worked. Like, think about it. The adults now who are violently upset over John Cena were kids. If I'm wrong, please tell me. But I guarantee I'm not. I guarantee you were 5 or 8 watching John Cena, and that you had the most attachment with him. He was your favorite wrestler growing up. You had the little wristbands and everything. At that time, we were booing you because we hated John Cena and we hated what he was doing to the product. So we were booing that whole thing.
Legitimately, I wasn't even booing. I was just, I'm out. This isn't for me anymore.
Yeah, well, eventually I left as well. That's why, if you look at that time period, there is this big gap for people in their 30s who stopped watching wrestling. And then they either discovered TNA or just left completely because John Cena destroyed professional wrestling.
Well,
And it wasn't that
mad because I wish I'd around that time. Again, I grew up watching wrestling from videotapes that I got from the library in Crossmaglen. So like
I grew up watching it because my family would record wrestling and give me tapes.
Yeah, but what I mean is like my access, my knowledge of other types was like, it's not that I didn't watch TNA. I didn't know TNA existed. I didn't know New Japan existed. I didn't know things like Ring of Honor were going to come along. So I just, whenever WCW was gone and WWE went down the toilet, I was just like, I think that's just it for me.
That's it. I think that's what a lot of people happen to a lot of people. Like I remember it specifically. And look, if you think we're lying or making this stuff up, we're not. You can actually go back and have a look at this. You can see the exodus from, it's even before Cena, like 2002. Once WCW closed, everybody was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm done now. And what's interesting, and I will leave it on this point, what's interesting here is you're starting to see an exodus from WWE now, because for a lot of people, WWE was John Cena. And now that he's gone, that's it. They're not going to TNA. They're not going to AEW. They're just done.
Oh, and yeah. Well, that's the danger of these nostalgia runs, that people will tune in. When Jericho comes out in the Rumble, people will tune in to see what he's going to do. But yeah, like you say, a year later, he's going to be gone.
Yeah, and that's it, And look, we'll have to leave it there, folks. But thank you so much for listening in. Again, if you agree, disagree, want to leave your comments, please do. Leave them below. We want to hear from them because, again, like, we don't know our demographics, people who listen. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you're probably an older fan. But if you're just
we know you're good looking. We did research and it says all our fans are good looking. So
absolutely,
you know that.
Absolutely. But if you discover this on YouTube and you're like, oh my God, I'm so upset, please let me know why. Like, what did we say that upset you? But again, the goal of this podcast is to, take back the video packages and be like, hey, this is how it actually was, because we had to do it for our stuff. We had to do it for WCW, for, for
it was
WWE.
heartbreaking.
It was.
New generation was eye-opening.
Yeah, and the
Attitude Era was really surprising.
See, but what is quite funny though is with TNA, at least you know how bad it's going to be. You remember that at the time, but you're like, it's and very little things can prepare you for truly the horror of Hardcore Justice 2010. So I always enjoy when people who haven't seen that get to see it for the first time. It makes me very happy actually when someone hasn't seen that and I'm like, I have one for you. Martin walked into that one with eyes completely closed. But yeah, look, let me know if you think we were off base here. I assure you we weren't. John Cena, again, people call him the greatest of all time. That's so goofy. It's so goofy. But he is on the Mount Rushmore because he was the modern Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, look, if depends on if your definition of Mount Rushmore isn't like the best wrestlers, it's who are the most significant characters, then yeah, it's undeniable that he was. I mean, his tenure was longer than
anyone else,
Austin combined.
Yeah, and as I said, it's if you look into it, that run is unheard of, and it won't ever happen again because it can't. Cena was lucky; he wasn't injured that much. He had a crazy billionaire on top.
He didn't really do anything in the ring.
Exactly, he didn't really do anything. It was, it was what it was. But look, let us know what you thought. We're gonna leave it there. Martin, is there anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, all good. Have a holly jolly Christmas, Eve, and sure we'll see us maybe in the new year, as Dara said earlier. Maybe we'll do a bit of it'll be post Christmas, so maybe we'll do just like a kind of a festive or a pagan solstice episode.
Absolutely, folks. Please do like, share, subscribe. We'll be back in the next one. See you later.
Wah, 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 wah.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.